All right. 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. It is time for Auto Repair with Personal Care. Matt Gibbs is here. He is the guy who gives my car that personal care that song references. And he's here to answer your questions about your car, truck, motorcycle. Not so sure about boats or tricycles, although he is going to get into the tricycle business as a cartoon version of himself.
Yes.
If you have a question for Matt or just want to join the conversation, you are invited to do that. The number is 622-9622. If you want to bring your car to Matt, his garage is at 1800 Northwest 10th Street right here in Ocala. You're not going to find a better mechanic than Matt. So there you go.
Hey.
And his guys.
My guys.
You ever have a lady mechanic?
No.
Nope, haven't had one.
No, I'm not being prejudiced or whatever. I just know. Matter of fact, if there's a lady out there that's an awesome mechanic, come by and see me. We got a spot for you.
There was a lady on Pine Avenue. This was years. I used to work at the Star Banner.
Careful, Larry. Careful.
I used to work at the Star Banner, and their trucks. I used to drive the trucks to bring the papers to the people who bring the papers, and we would always go to this lady mechanic. I think it was a Shell station, right on the corner of Pine and whatever it is, right across from Don's Garage. You know Don's Garage?
Oh, yeah.
So Don's Garage would also be our mechanic, but this lady was like just as good. But she happened to work at the Shell station.
Wow.
Yeah. Way more than I would ever know.
I worked with a lady. We had a lady mechanic that worked with us at the dealership.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I wonder why ladies don't go follow that career choice. It's just it doesn't call their attention, huh?
I don't know. I don't know.
Not all of them. I mean, we've had some, like, I guess that are famous. They've written books or whatever. Like, we had that lady, a NASCAR driver. I can't remember. She's real pretty.
Oh, yeah.
One who just retired?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Danica.
Yes. Yeah, she was on. Like, why did she retire? She seemed young.
I think I think she stopped doing NASCAR. I don't know if she continues doing the Formula racing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Did I tell you Galen went to the Formula race?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. It was pretty exciting listening to him describe it and how it was. And when you look at the cars, a guy like me, I don't know one car from another.
Yeah.
I had no idea that's what they look like. Now I know.
Now you know.
So how are you doing? How's business?
Business is well. We're looking for some technicians. So if there's somebody out there that's wanting to...
I think that's your phone call.
Is it mine?
No. It's this right here.
Oh,
it's
wow.
Right here.
Wow, I better answer. We better answer that, Larry.
Come on, you're on the air with Matt.
Morning, guys.
Hey.
Dave Patrick retired from racing. She was an IndyCar driver and then went over to NASCAR. But she's currently dating Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. So she's probably in the driver's seat up there.
Huh. That's right. She is dating Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know these
she had
things.
a fairly successful career in racing. She won one IndyCar race, a Japan race, and finished pretty high in a couple other ones. But it's unusual for a woman to be that successful in that long in racing. But anyway, she's retired, and she's probably very happily going on with Mr. Rogers up in Green Bay.
Yeah,
Mr. Rogers.
There's a whole new Mr. Rogers movie coming out, I think.
I know. Can't wait to see it. All right. Thank you, Hugh.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
There was a story in the news about warning people not to start their car too often in the cold weather. I know this doesn't apply to us, but why would that be the warning?
Mm-hmm. Don't start your car in the cold weather?
Too often.
Yeah,
it was in the news just this morning. I guess because there's a cold thing sweeping the country right now.
Yeah, Joey. We talked to Joey last night. I think it was supposed to.
He's in Urbana-Champaign.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah. Yeah, Champaign. I think this morning we're supposed to be at like single digits.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. But this is not his first year going through a winter, right?
Oh, no, this is his fourth year.
His fourth year. Wow, it's fine. Time flies,
years,
huh?
yeah.
Wow.
He's graduating.
That's amazing, really.
Yeah.
Seems like just yesterday.
It seems like the day before yesterday.
Do you know, I always meant to ask you something. Did you accidentally invite us to that party? Because I said to Robin, I bet you there's another Larry on his list, and he wanted to invite that guy.
When we had the going away party.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that was very sweet of you to invite us. I said to Robin, we don't know anybody here. Do you think they meant to invite us?
There's people there I didn't even know. So.
Well, you knew us anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that was that was a nice event. I mean, your son was well loved. He's got that kind of a charisma going,
yes, he
doesn't
does.
he? Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Was that you?
No, that's him.
Was that you when you were younger?
What?
You charisma guy?
No, he's taking it to maybe a little bit, but he's taking it to a whole different level. He's just, it's.
Do you know, I watched part of the New York Marathon.
Okay.
And the first people out of the chute was the wheelchair people. And I was wondering, did he have any friends in that? He didn't do that, right?
No, Joey was there.
He was there?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what I was saying. Your nephew was there.
Right. Well, did you get any photos from him?
No. We were supposed to be there, but we had a death in the family.
Oh, okay.
And so we had to stay behind. But man, and he got us. He had us hooked up too, Larry. We had all access passes to go anywhere, to be at the finish line when he got done. But his roommate Daniel Romachek actually won. He won it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you know they start off
uphill?
Well, Staten Island is the highest point in New York City. I don't know if you know that. But then, of course, they have to go up the ramp onto the Verrazano Narrows Bridge.
Right.
So the reason I'm bringing that up is because I've always wanted to walk across that bridge, and I didn't think you could. So I don't know if they just closed it for the runners or if there actually is a pedestrian path on that thing.
No, they closed it for the runners. That entire bridge was engulfed with people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, he told me that was the most difficult thing he's ever done in his life.
The first part of the race?
No, the whole marathon. He said that marathon was brutal.
Well, why was that? Do you know?
It's just because there's I think 4 bridges that they have to cross, and it's going up the bridge. It's someone asked me a question the other day, and we were talking about his time and stuff. Now, his roommate Daniel Romachek, he's ranked the #1 guy in the world right now.
Right.
He was born with spinal bifida, and he has such an advantage over Joey. See, and I was telling Joey's time was 2 hours and 20 minutes in the New York Marathon. Now, Joey is paralyzed.
That's amazing.
From his nipples down. So everything from his nipples up is what got him through that whole marathon.
Isn't that amazing? Really?
And it really is. It's an awesome accomplishment that what he's been able to do.
Okay, I'm looking for your son because I actually have an app. Did you get the app?
Oh yeah.
How come I don't see? Oh, there, Joey Gibbs, right there. 226 is his number.
That was his number.
So did you get photos from this app?
Well, I look at them.
Oh, okay. So you've seen them.
Yeah. I have.
It says there are 83 photos of him. Oh my gosh, look at him crossing the line. Oh, this is a great shot, man. Look at this shot right here. You've seen them all, right?
Yeah, you're on the actual New York Marathon app, right? Yeah,
the app that's there.
Yeah,
they had. Isn't it amazing that they had photographers getting every single runner? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And it was 55,000 runners?
Is that right? I don't know, but I know it's like if I look at the Boston Marathon, I don't know that area, so I don't know. But when I looked at this map, I knew every neighborhood they were going through.
Right.
And the other 2 bridges must have been on the Harlem River. If they did 4 bridges, because they
went into they crossed over. Didn't they cross over a bridge to go into Queens?
They did. The first one into Brooklyn was the Verrazano Bridge.
Right,
and then they went from the Queensboro Bridge over to Manhattan. So they went from Brooklyn. Now, they might have crossed that little bridge there's a piece of a river that separates Queens from Brooklyn. Okay. Depends on where they ran. I can't remember. But then there's that other big bridge, the 59th Street Bridge.
Right, yep.
And then they went north, and there's 2 bridges on the Harlem River that I don't know the name of. But those are kind of small compared to the 2 big ones.
So it's neat.
Look at the wheels on his wheelchair. Is that a special wheelchair?
Mm-hmm. It's a racing chair.
Did
It's
you
a
build
racer.
it? Is that the one you raised money for?
Yeah, that's not.
Look at that thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, those wheels are carbon. That's all carbon fiber. There's no spokes. It's solid carbon fiber.
So I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't you want to ride that everywhere? Why would you want to ride a normal wheelchair if you could ride this thing?
No, you the front wheel keeps it from getting close to the dinner table.
Okay,
You know what I'm
that
saying?
part, yeah.
You know, but it's not that chair is set up for its purpose, and its purpose is to do marathons.
Has he ever done basketball in a wheelchair?
He's dabbled with basketball, but
What is with those wheels?
like because they're all jacked
Right.
up.
Yeah, they're crazy.
It's just those are actually jacked up too. They're just not as there's not as much camber in that as there are like in basketball and in murder ball. Murder ball is like
Murder ball?
Yeah, it's kind of like okay, so it's kind of like I'm trying to think. It's not man.
Murder ball.
Yeah, they call it murder ball. These guys are, they're out for blood. They get out there and it's kind of like, what's the game? It's like European football where they throw it's not soccer, but where they throw the ball to each other and run and they tackle each other really.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
I can't think of the name of it right now, but they actually do that in wheelchairs, and and they demolish each other. It's crazy.
So what was Joey's time?
2 hours and 20-something minutes.
That's amazing. Holy cow. That's how long it takes me to go 1 mile.
Yeah. Well, his
No, I'm teasing.
well, his roommate, he did it in an hour and 30-something minutes.
Oh my gosh, wow. So any hope for him in the Olympics next year?
We don't see it.
Doesn't look like it.
He's still dealing with it. He's never got his shoulder fixed, so he's got a torn labrum in his shoulder.
Do you know I might be able to help him with that?
We could.
Yeah.
Okay, he's coming home in 2 weeks.
I guess I wouldn't really do this, but we took Doug to the Ocala Country Days on Sunday, and they were going to demonstrate the cannon. And the cannon demonstration is preceded by a guy giving a speech about the military and the artillery of the Civil War. It's kind of long. So I said to Doug, do you want to sit on the ground? Yeah, okay. So I help him down. Okay, now he's on the ground. Now people are standing in front of him, and it's almost time to light the cannon, right? So I said, let me help you up. So I pull his arm, and he goes, oh! I said, oh my God, okay. And so then I went under his arm, and Robin and I helped him get up. So then later on, he said, I want to thank you for pulling on my arm. I'm thinking, uh-oh, did I hurt you? He said, no, it feels better. It was hurting me for months. So I have some chiropractic ability. I didn't know.
You got some skill, Larry. You got some skill. I thought maybe he tooted and then it all, you know what I'm saying?
All right, you have a phone call. Good morning, you're on the air with Matt.
Yeah, good morning, good morning. I think you're thinking of the game rugby.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I can always count on you for all my trivia needs.
Rugby, they pass the ball back and forth. They don't do the American-style forward pass.
Yeah, no, that's it.
They don't tackle?
Running.
Oh, yeah, they tackle.
Yeah, also the ball is not. It's a larger ball, so it doesn't really lend itself to being forward pass.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah.
And they play that in a wheelchair.
Thank you, Joey. So, that's what I was going to ask. So Joey played that in a wheelchair?
No.
Oh, he didn't play it in a wheelchair?
No, he did basketball. He did hockey. Daniel lives in up north, so there's and where he lives in Maryland, there was a lot more sports for challenged athletes, and so there was a lot more to do up there than there is around here. There's really nothing. Jacksonville has some stuff that they do for challenged athletes, but around here there's nothing. So, but he got to do ice. He got to do hockey.
What was his? This is not about cars. If you have a car question, please call. That's why Matt's here. But I have a question for Matt about his son Joey. Who was his? And it could be you. I don't want you to shy away from it if it's you. But anybody easily, if they went from being fully functional to suddenly paralyzed from the chest down, could have easily not been motivated, not wanted to pursue their life's dreams, and could have given up easily. So was there somebody or some group of people, or was it just his faith in God,
You mean like, Joey himself?
yeah, how did people... Somebody goes through that, right? You and your wife must have been afraid, oh my gosh, we got to make sure he knows he can still live a full life, right?
Well, just to be honest, it's just me and you talking, right? There's nobody listening.
Nobody's listening, no.
So
Jim, turn off your radio.
So on that day, September 18th of 2008, it was probably 2 days later, is when it really dawned, when you really, okay, here, this is it. This is our life now.
Yeah.
And
how old was he at that time?
he was 11, and so Joey, so I don't know if I've ever said this on the air, but the day of his crash, okay, the paramedics come, I'm there. And I knew enough just to not move him in any way. He told me, Dad, I felt my legs leave my body. He said, I'm paralyzed. No, you're going to be, no, Dad, I'm telling you, I'm paralyzed. I felt my legs leave my body. The paramedics come,
wow.
and they come, and I'm there, and usually, like in the movies, you see the paramedics, they come and, grab you away, and they go in there. They just let me stay right there. And he had all of his gear on, and I said, and they didn't really know how to deal with all the gear that he had on. I said, give me the scissors, that cut everything. And I started cutting all the stuff off of him, but okay, so now they're calling for the helicopter, and they let me stay with Joey the whole time. I never left his side. I didn't leave where he was at, and so as the helicopter was landing, they literally had to knock the neighbor's fence down. And as the helicopter was landing, he looked up at me and he asked me two things. And the first question he asked me was, Dad, can I still be a dad?
Wow.
And then the next question he asked me was, Dad, what are we going to race now?
Oh my gosh!
And
wow.
So just the initial part of it, just his first question was about how am I going? Okay, I'm going to figure this thing out, and we're going to get on with it.
So the answer to my question then is, whoever it was, that person happened way before the accident. The person that gave him, and it might have been himself, or it might have just been you and your wife, might have been just the life itself was just so exciting to him. He knew that, look, I'm not stopping. I'm doing whatever I want to do.
Well, when I got to Cheyenne, naturally they took him away in the helicopter. I got my truck and I'm booking it. So when I got to Cheyenne's, and I called to speak to a urologist, and naturally they wanted me to speak to the neurosurgeon. I needed to speak to a urologist, and me and the ER doc we kind of just had this conversation. It seemed like it went on for 10 minutes, but it was probably just for, you need to speak to the neurosurgeon. No, I need to speak to a urologist. So when when I told the doctor, I said, listen, his first question to me was, Dad, can I still be a dad?
Right.
She's like, I understand, and she went and got the urologist. Now, when the now 2 hours have gone by. He's gone from us. He's in the emergency room. They're doing all this stuff, and the urologist finally gets there, and the neurosurgeon's there, and all this stuff, and all this stuff, craziness was happening. And the urologist came to me, and I said, this was his question. And the urologist started telling me all these things, and I said, he doesn't need to know all the details. But can you go in and assure him he can be a dad? And he says, let's go. Now, in my mind, I thought an hour and a half or whatever's gone by, he's not going to remember asking me this. A lot of, you know what I'm saying? So we walked into the room, and the doctor said, I introduced him to Joey, and Joey, and the doctor says, so your dad says you have a question for me. And he looks straight up at this doctor, and he says, can I still be a dad? And the doctor says, yes, I assure you, you can still be a dad. And Joey looked at me, and he said, I'll deal with whatever this thing throws my way. He says, I just would not be able to deal with the fact that I couldn't be a dad.
What a mature 11-year-old.
That's a crazy thing, man.
That's a very mature young man.
So at the end of the day, he has lived up to that. He's been way beyond his years. He's just an incredible young man. And if he were here right now, and I would say this, that the Lord Jesus Christ had his hand on him the day that boy was born, and for such a time as this. Because to be honest with you, he'll tell. I've heard him speak. Not because of his injury, man. He's got to speak. We were speaking at a church in Umatilla, and after he spoke, a girl came up to him, and this girl, she was probably 15 years old at the time. He was probably 12 or he was probably 13 maybe now. And she was going to go home if God didn't touch her, if God didn't reveal himself to this young girl, she was going to go home and kill herself. She went there and said,
Wow.
Either God, you're going to show yourself to be true to me, or this life is over.
Oh my gosh.
And so she went up there and started talking to Joey, and Joey just ministered to her, and Joey called me to come over, and we got to, and Joey said, if all that I've gone through was just for her, it was worth it.
Yeah. Wow. Very mature. Very wise. And he was only 12 at that point.
12, maybe 13, maybe.
Wow. Did he have a religious encounter while he was at the worst of it, like right at the accident moment or something?
No. It's just he had this faith in God, and he kept that. That faith never ever varied. It never wavered at all, ever. It never did.
Wow.
If that were me, I probably would have.
No, I know you.
No. We went through some stuff. Me and my wife and our family, we went through some stuff, But he's the one that kept us together. He's the one that kept our family together.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Got a phone call. Good morning, you're on the air with Matt.
Yeah, good morning. This is the time of year you want to make sure your antifreeze is at its proper strength, especially if you're going to be traveling up north. So you want to pop in and have it checked and see if it's up to strength. And everybody have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep us on track.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, just keeping in line with the whole mechanic thing. I'm spoiled. I was gonna say we're spoiled, but I'm spoiled. If I don't have a car, I'm like, come on. Why do I have to walk?
Yeah.
Go to Matt and over at Sunrise Automotive, and you'll see. Hey, were you called Sunrise before the accident?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were Sunrise. We had a church service. It was Sunday. We were opening in the next couple weeks, and I didn't want to call it Matt's Garage or whatever. And we actually went to lunch with a pastor friend of ours out of Mobile, Alabama, and he came up with a scripture, and the scripture had, under his righteousness there will be healing. When the sun rises, there will be healing under his wing. But it was the sun, S-U-N, and we just heard Sunrise, and it was S-O-N, and that's how it became Sunrise.
Wow, that's an amazing story too. Well, I code to you because I trust you. Simple as that. I know you're going to know your stuff. I know you're going to give me a fair price. I know you're not going to sell me something I don't need, and I'm going to have a car that will work as soon as you get it fixed. But right now it's doing good, and you sold me my car, so.
It doesn't get no better than that, right?
And I had a 1,000-mile test drive, which I always will remember. All right, let me play this song, and thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you, Larry.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. The Supreme Court today hearing arguments on the order shielding so-called dreamers from deportation.
The estimates are 700,000 to 800,000 young people who were brought here illegally as children. Their legal status is now in doubt. This is a program that was instituted under the Obama administration. This administration, the Trump administration, has argued that it was unlawful and unconstitutional.
Fox's Shannon Bream outside the court. Former President Jimmy Carter undergoing surgery this morning in Atlanta to relieve pressure on his brain.
Caused by bleeding due to his recent falls. He has fallen at least 3 times this year, and the first of those falls required hip replacement surgery.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. And a former McDonald's employee filing a lawsuit to force the chain to confront what it calls a so-called systemic problem of sexual harassment. America is listening to Fox News.
Whether you're on the construction site or in the office managing properties, Lowe's saves pros of all trades on what you need to get the job done right. Like a Metabo HPT 1 3/4 inch 15-degree pneumatic